Hello, everyone, and happy Earth Month. I'm Ginger Lawrence, and I'm a volunteer and board member for Wild Seed Project based in Portland, Maine. And all of us here at Wild Seed Project hope to get all of you out there planting some native plants where you live. Now, being April, this is not the ideal time to plant native plants as they are best planted in the late fall and early winter, and I'll talk more about that later. But today I'm excited to show you how to make seed bombs. So what are seed bombs? They are these little balls made of potting soil, clay, seeds, and a little bit of water to hold them together. And seed bombing is an ancient practice that was used by farmers to spread seed over a large area with minimal effort and without disturbing the soil. And another advantage to encasing seeds in a clay ball like this is because it offers some protection to the seeds. The seeds will not get blown away by the wind, and also they won't tend to be eaten by birds or any other animals that are coming by. So a plant's job is to spread its seeds far and wide. And seeds come in many different shapes and sizes in order to take advantage of anything that might move them. Some seeds are covered with fluffy things, and they are carried by the wind. I'll be looking for those for the next month. Some seeds have sticky things that attach to our clothing or to animal fur, and they're dispersed that way. If you've ever been walking in the woods and your legs or clothes are covered with beggar's ticks that you can't get off and make their way into your washing machine, then you know what I mean. And many seeds are carried by birds and animals to different places. The birds and other animals will eat the seeds, they pass through the digestive tract, and they're pooped out afterward in many different places. So we'll be planting native plants with our seed bombs. And these are plants that have been in eastern North America since ancient times. And since colonial times, plants and animals that were brought here from other places have colonized our landscapes. So they're one reason why we have lost so many of our native plants. Another reason we have lost them is that they have lost a place to grow. We've built roads and buildings and houses and all kinds of areas that have removed the native plant populations. So it's up to us to get those native plants back in the landscape. So let's get started. The materials you'll need to make seed bombs are potting soil, preferably organic, and I use kitty litter, and I have tilt the screen down so you can see. You're going to use equal amounts of potting soil and kitty litter. This is kitty litter without any additives. We don't want to add any chemicals into the soil. I use a 1/4 cup of each. It will make about 20 seed bombs. So you'll need water I also like to keep a bowl of warm water nearby so I can rinse my hands, and an old dishcloth. So you'll start by just mixing the clay and potting soil together. And then just start drizzling water over the top. Back to the days of childhood, making mud pies. And you're just going to keep working the water into the soil and clay. The clay takes a little time to hydrate, so sometimes I'll mix my seed bomb mixture and go do something else and then come back and check it. So add your water slowly. It's much easier to moisten than to have a big mud puddle. And you just keep working and working. And this is getting closer. So at this point, I would probably leave this for about 5 or 10 minutes and allow the clay to hydrate and then come back. So a little rinse here. Alrighty. So I have some seed balm mix that I've already mixed up, and you can see it's chunky. So to form the seed balm, you're just going to take a pinch. You want these seed balms to be pretty small, and then just start pressing together, sort of pressing it as if you were trying to make a ball. And when it feels firm enough, you can roll it between your fingers, and then you have a cute little seed ball. I think these are adorable. Okay. Another pinch. So if you find that your mixture is too wet, you can try letting it sit a little bit longer, or just adding a little bit of clay to it. There's another. And I like to also keep water here, because after you've been making them, sometimes your hands can be a little muddy and sticky, and it almost pulls the balls apart when you're trying to work with them. So I try to just keep rinsing my hands. If you find that your mixture isn't quite there yet, just dab a little water in your hand, and it's enough to moisten it and get that to hold together. Okay, just do one more. So these are pretty small. Mine used to be really big. I've just worked at trying to get them to be small. If I'm going to plant a larger seed, I might use a larger seed ball. So this is an example of how things are getting a little sticky. So I'm just going to rinse and then come back to that. Much easier to handle. And there's a larger one. Okay. So I have some seed balms all made. We'll add these to them. And they're ready for the seeds. And now for the part I know you've all been waiting for, putting seeds in your seed balms. And before we choose our seeds, it's important to understand something about our native plants. Almost all of our native plants need winter to germinate. They need the cold temperatures, the snow, the ice, the rain, and the alternating freezing and thawing that goes on during winter in order to break their seed coat. And this is because these plants have been around since ancient times, and they've adapted to winter, and it is part of their life cycle. So being April, our choices for plants that will germinate this spring are limited, and for those that will actually flower this summer are even more limited. So if you go to the Wild Seed Project website at www.wildseedproject.net and search for seed balms, you'll find all the information you need about making seed balms, growing native plants from seed, and which plants are best suited for planting in the early spring. So I have several varieties with me. We have a seed sale on Wild Seed Project. This is what our packets look like. And I have a couple of varieties that will bloom this year. One is black-eyed coneflower, and the other is partridge pea, which is an annual. I have a couple short-lived perennials that will germinate this year, but probably not bloom. There's a chance that you can get bloom, but probably not. One is spotted bee balm, and the other is Scotch bellflower. And there are many species of asters, and the asters can all be planted in early spring. They will germinate, but will not bloom until the second year. And almost all of our perennials will not bloom the first year. They take 2 to 3 years to bloom. So I've chosen black-eyed coneflower to put in my seed balms. And you're just going to take one of your seed balls, make a depression with your forefinger or thumb, then take your wet finger, pick up a couple seeds with it, place them in the depression, and pinch the edges together. If you want them to look perfect, you can roll them back up in a ball, but we don't have to be perfect here. Julia Child wasn't perfect with her TV show. I think she once dropped a chicken on the floor. And there we go. If you're going to use larger seeds for your seed bombs, like milkweed seeds, you'll only want to put about 2 or 3 seeds into your seed bomb. And there they are. So that's it. You're all ready to go seed bombing. Some good locations to chuck your seed bombs could be railway lines, abandoned lots, roadsides, especially where construction's been done, or any place where you would like to see repopulated with native plants. Last winter, I was on a seed bombing mission because the spring before, our town had excavated out a drainage ditch. And that ditch had been full of coastal Joe Pyeweed and boneset and asters and goldenrods and lots of other native flowers. Last summer, not one flower bloomed, and it made me very sad. So over the course of late fall and winter, I would make bunches of seed bombs to repopulate with the native plants that were there, and I'd go down and chuck them, and it made me feel good about the fact that in a couple years, those plants will all be back there. So I'll have a video about that following this video. So I hope you've enjoyed making seed bombs. I've enjoyed showing you, and have a great time. Go do some seed bombing. So this is a picture of the drainage ditch before it was excavated. Blooming in the first picture is boneset, and in the second picture we have coastal Joe Pyeweed along with many other native wildflowers.
So it certainly doesn't feel like a day in the middle of April with May only a couple weeks away. It's really cold out today. But this is the drainage ditch I mentioned. It was completely excavated and all the native plants on both sides were wiped out. So in the winter I came and threw seeds that need winter to germinate. And right now I have the seed bombs that we made today, and I'm using asters because all the asters will germinate. So these are asters that like part sun, part shade. I have some New England asters here, and they also like soil that's a little bit moist. So I'm going to toss them on either side of this drainage ditch, which still has water in it. So that's it.